we talked previously around this kind of intersection between avatars and generative AI enabled bots and how that might change customer experiences or management experiences or patient doctor experiences going forward. We kind of thought we'd try to put one into Spatial here today and give a little bit of an example to the audience to see how it might work in the future and how it can leverage some of the current technology available to us today. Before we start, John, can you just give us a little rundown, a little clue as to what we're going to be witnessing here, and maybe a few caveats as to where we've taken some license for the demo purpose to show off to the audience?
Yeah, so this is our chatbot. He has been trained with all sorts of data sets that we have grabbed from the general wide web, and we have implemented that with ChatGPT as an architecture underneath him. Call it his spine, if you will. And what makes him unique is that we were able to do pretty much all of this through Unreal using metahumans, although we're not seeing the metahuman version here with the spatial / Ready Player Me, but we do have a version of that. And what we wanted to do is have a chatbot that can role play and take responses that we are giving it based off of certain criteria. Like in this scenario, you're going to be a sales role play bot, and I'm going to try and pitch you something, and I can give you negative weights as far as say, like, no matter what, I do not want you to let me close this deal, or only accept this proposal if I do this in criteria. So we wanted to really focus on that. So what we have here is a little vignette of that we were going to run through. I was going to ask it some questions. I thought you could as well, and we could see how that goes.
Awesome. And I've seen this example on the MetaHuman side. It's quite unique of what you can do with that in kind of a custom setting. Certainly, we're not far away from using kind of native avatar platforms like Ready Player Me or Spatial or from other platforms to help put this technology in too. So I'm glad we're able to do it today with our friend Jimmy. And why don't we just get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to ask Jimmy some questions. All right. Hello. How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking. May I ask who we are speaking to?
I am a virtual human powered by OpenAI, the same technology responsible for ChatGPT.
Oh, that's great. Can you pretend to be a software engineer?
Yes, I have general knowledge on many topics. If I don't have specific domain knowledge, you can provide fine-tuning information so that I can provide better responses.
Okay, let's give that a shot. My name is John. What's your name?
Hello, I'm Jimmy. I am a software engineer.
What kind of software do you make, Jimmy?
I write machine learning and AI programs.
That's great. Is that difficult to do, Jimmy?
Yes, it can be very difficult. There's an art to the process, and any changes to the underlying system can take a long time to train, but once the systems are set up, they can be quite impressive.
Yeah, I would agree. Very impressive. Thank you. Well, that's all for today, so you can just shut down.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
And that's Jimmy.
So, yeah, that's Jimmy. So, John, obviously that's a very basic interaction that we've put here. We've put into Spatial here, leveraging just their native avatar and such. But pretty remarkable just to be part of that conversation. It probably shows through a little bit to the audience too around some of the capabilities where we're starting to be able to have intelligent, fact-based conversations with a bot. I think about these always-on marketing experiences, or people want to have a 3D emporium for a product launch, and the ability to have characters they're able to answer questions around a product staffed really literally around the clock to answer questions for our audience, and then combine that with some sort of e-commerce experience. Really speaks to that confluence of technologies that we were talking about earlier, and just kind of being in here in this very brief conversation with Jimmy in Spatial, super excited to where these integrations are going to go to. And I don't think it's going to be very long before we're going to see this across many, many different immersive platforms.
Agreed. And the thing that really excites me, especially with what we've developed here, is in that you have a chatbot that you can talk to using a data model set that we've given. Really, for me, is the fact that there's continuity in the entire conversation, so that from the moment that you're done talking to the bot on the phone, you can then follow up in an email to that same bot, and they will have continuity of that conversation, and then they will respond to what you were saying in that email. So this can be an actual training application that goes through entire stages of training to closing out a job, because you don't just close after one conversation with the client, unless you're really lucky, or unless you're selling, more of the minor products like trophies or products that can be sold. Whereas something that, would take time overall with teams of people, you can train a bot to go through that entire process over weeks with check-ins, multiple phone calls, and that entire conversation will continue. So that's what gets me really excited.
Yeah, I think too, we touched on it earlier around the role-playing aspects. The commercial and the service aspects there too, but just the difficulty and the expense and the time required in replicating role-playing environments and training situations or in interview situations, the ability to kind of come into an immersive space and interact with a bot that might be trained in a particular subject matter or field really can, the extension of that are nearly limitless, and to see it, nearly here is really exciting, and I can't wait to see what both businesses and other professionals do to kind of replicate that experience and to give people that outlet. The amount of times you can practice those conversations versus traditional methods is astounding in terms of preparation.